So, there's always been this weird idea that Twitch streamers have that what they do is so much harder than what the average working man does to earn a living, with some streamers unironically believing that streaming is harder than working a normal 9 to 5 full-time job. No surprise that Hassan is among the people who believe that, causing a massive drama earlier this year, because, well, I think anyone who has worked a real job can tell you it's a lot worse than getting paid millions of dollars to play video games in your LA mansion. But now we have a streamer who tried it, a guy who decided that streaming was too much and he wanted to quit and start doing a normal job, only to almost immediately regret it and return to streaming. I'm talking about Dafran, a self-described former pro Overwatch player and FPS streamer, though looking at his Twitch, it seems like he mostly plays World of Warcraft right now. Now, to be fair, for someone to have been a pro Overwatch player, I can't imagine the mental toll that would take on them, so maybe he's not the best at decision making these days. I mean, I'm not saying Overwatch causes brain damage, but if there was a game that did, I might suspect it. But regardless, he, for whatever reason, took the path less traveled and decided to quit his reasonably successful live streaming career to go work at a pallet manufacturer or warehouse. Going straight from working by sitting in front of a computer playing games to operating a forklift and working a blue-collar, very active job is definitely an interesting choice, but let him cook, I guess. He had announced his new job a few weeks back, posting a photo to Twitter saying, "I got a real-life job. First work day finished. 37 hours a week, handling pallets and using truck certificate." I assume by truck certificate he means something like a forklift license, which reminds me of the time I got scissor lift certified in like 10 minutes of training, and then they had me balance 50 feet up in the air in perhaps the sketchiest, barely stable scissor lift in the entire United States. My favorite part being the guy who trained us telling us that keeping our harnesses attached to it, if the thing fell over, would probably be worse than detaching and jumping off of it, since it would slam us into the ground like something out of WWE if we were attached to it when it fell. It was a very eye-opening experience. Luckily, it didn't fall over, and I didn't have to experience being slingshotted into the ground at high speed. But man, did it feel like it would. I'm off topic, but getting back to our main subject, almost 2 weeks after his first tweet announcing his new manual labor job, Dafran announced on Twitter that he's quit because it was way harder than being a streamer. On Twitter, he said, "I quit my job. I lasted 2 weeks. Working 37 hours a week job is way harder than streaming. I am glad I tried it. Now I can appreciate how good I have at streaming. I will stream until I can't anymore." Which is honestly, I think, exactly how every single one of you thought it would go. At least he's humble about it and will admit that streaming is easier than working a real job. I don't think there's a single well-adjusted human being with a fully intact brain that would argue that streaming is harder than a real job. For the most part, the people who actually believe that streaming is a hard job are streamers with massive egos who have their self-worth tied to their job. So when you tell them that it's easy, they get upset. I mean, sure, it's going to be socially draining and maybe might strain your vocal cords from the talking, but does that compare to waking up at 5 a.m., driving into the old pallet factory, sipping on a cup of joe while driving a forklift around, watching old Jim accidentally knock over a huge stack of pallets and need to be dug out, occasionally getting a nail going through your boot so that your boot's now a part of your body and it won't ever come off, only to go home to your wife who is upset because you're not home enough even though you're working yourself to the bone to make enough money to send little Jimmy, your son, off to college when he's older, even as now he barely knows you because you're only home a few hours each day before he goes to sleep. No, streaming doesn't compare in difficulty to the average life of the average man, which is basically a personal crusade against poverty. But what do you guys think? Is there one of you that actually believes that streaming is so difficult that you'd rather work a manual labor job? Or would you expect the average streamer to last just about as long as our friend Dafran did, which is just under 2 weeks? Let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for watching all the way till the end. Remember to like and subscribe. It really helps me out. Have a great day and God bless you.